This is Algebra 2's 5.3 Day 3 Notes, Part 2. It's the last two examples on the note outline. So we've been multiplying by the conjugate of the denominator in order to simplify this. This isn't simplified because there is a root in the denominator. So if we multiplied by root 5 and distributed it, we would still have 4 root 5. That would still be a problem. So what you would have to do is we need to multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of 4 minus root 5, which is the same exact thing, but we change the sign in the middle. So instead of 4 minus root 5, we have 4 plus root 5, and we need to do that in the numerator and the denominator. So in the numerator, when we distribute that root 5, 4 times root 5 is 4 root 5. Then root 5 times root 5 is just 5. So I have plus 5. Now in the denominator, we can take that shortcut since we know outer and inner will cancel since we're multiplying by the conjugate. So I'm just going to worry about the first times the first. 4 times 4 is 16. If I had more time, I'd show you the outer and inner and how they cancel. But outer and inner will cancel, so I ignore it. And then my last, negative times a positive is negative. Root 5 times root 5 is just 5. So now in the denominator, I need to do 16 minus 5. So I'll have 4 root 5 plus 5. That doesn't simplify. So 4 root 5 plus 5 over 16 minus 5 is 11. So there is your answer. I know it can't simplify because I'm looking at these three numbers, the 4, the 5, and the 11, and they don't share, the three of them don't share any common factors. All three of them have to have a common factor in order to reduce, so I can't reduce that one. Finally, example 4. Again, we can't just multiply by root 2 in the denominator. That won't work out for us. So we have to take this long method, which I'm sure you all love, and we have to multiply by the conjugate. So the conjugate of the denominator is the only thing that matters. We don't care about the numerator. It can have roots in it, so the numerator ends up however it does. But the denominator, we have to multiply by this conjugate. Root 2 minus 1 is the conjugate of that denominator. So in the numerator, root 2 minus 1 as well. So this one's a little bit more difficult than before because we're doing a binomial times a binomial, so we're going to have to FOIL. So root 2 times root 2 is 2. The outer root 2 times negative 1 is negative root 2. Inner, negative 3 times root 2 is negative 3 root 2. And last, we have negative 3 times negative 1, which is a negative times negative, positive 3. In the denominator, I have root 2 times root 2, which is 2. I'm not worrying about the outer and inner because it's going to be negative root 2 plus root 2. They'll cancel. And so then I can just do last. 1 times negative 1 is 1. So I'll have 2 minus 1. You might already be able to see it, but 2 minus 1, if you want to simplify it right now, 2 minus 1 is just 1. So really, we don't have to worry about having a denominator anymore because this is all over 1. Now we need to combine like terms. 2 plus 3, that's 5. And then I have negative 1 root 2 minus 3 more root 2's. Remember that those root 2's are like items. We have negative 1 root 2's, and we're subtracting 3 more root 2's, which makes a total of negative 4 root 2's. I'm looking at this, seeing if I can simplify any of my roots anymore, and I can't. So this is my final answer, 5 minus 4 root 2. If you want a filled-in note outline, those are on my website. That's how I got this. If I were to scroll down, I don't know if I can scroll down, but the writing stays. But this is just straight off of my website. I can delete all this. But this is on the website. So if you need to see it, it's there. All right, so that's the end of the 5.3 day 3 homework. Your homework, or 5.3 day 3 notes, your homework is on the back, numbers 1 through 8. Take your time and good luck.